All right, so it occurred to me the MITRE ATT&CK framework is not in this course. It's real important. And the one I care about right now is the MITRE ATT&CK for industrial control systems. That's the one I'm going to be talking about on Monday. But there's one for all other types of malware too, and you should know about it. The MITRE ATT&CK matrix is used to organize the stages of an attack. So here we are. This is the ICS matrix for industrial control systems. Let me just, for this class, let me point out, we talked mostly about attacks that take over an individual computer here or a server, and for that you'd probably use the enterprise matrix. And the point is there are these stages of an attack: reconnaissance, trying to scan to find out what people might have. Then you develop resources like attacking tools. Then you have initial access, where you somehow get some ability to execute some code, like you trick somebody into clicking on a link and they execute some code on the box. Then you have execution of further code, persistence, so your malware stays on the machine through reboots. Privilege escalation, we've talked about tonight, trying to get up to administrator or domain administrator. Then you evade defenses, you get access to more credentials, you discover things you might want to steal, you move on the network laterally from point to point, taking over more and more boxes, you collect information, you have command and control to control boxes and issue commands from outside the network. You can exfiltrate data from the network, and you can have other impacts, like destroying machines or doing whatever you want. And not every attack does all these things, but the idea is every attack consists of some of these activities, and you can now analyze what techniques are used for each of these, and then you can record the threat groups and what their favorite techniques are, and it's a way to just sort of organize your thinking. And we should all know this because everybody's using this to design defense tools and firewalls and antiviruses and to do penetration tests. This is like the periodic table. This is the table that organizes the components of network security, of system security. And so there's one for enterprises, and there's one for ICS, which is the one that I wrote this project about. So this is for industrial control systems, and it's similar, but it's a little bit different and simpler because it's applying to hardware that's used in like water treatment plants and electric towers and phone switching stations. So it's somewhat simpler. And the point is, I made a project where you just have to look things up here. So there are questions like, how do you mitigate this thing called rogue masters, which is, all right, and so you have to find rogue masters. You just have to hunt around for things here. But we should all know all these techniques. You should know these names. You should know roughly how they work. You don't have to memorize everything about them. But none of these should be unfamiliar to you. We should all be practicing reading these things. So someplace I found rogue masters. Now there is a search engine available. Up here somewhere. Yeah, there's a search engine. That's one way to do it. And you'll find there is a technique called Rogue Masters. Here it is. And if you click on that, and it'll explain to you the technique, it will have an identifying number for the technique, and it will then give you examples of when this was actually observed and what kind of assets it attacks. And notice everything is numbered. So there's a number for the threat actors that did bad things. There's a number for all the types of assets it attacks. There's mitigations, and there are code numbers for the mitigations that might stop this attack. There's detection techniques and numbers to identify the detection techniques. And so you can see, it looks complicated, but this is how you organize your thinking. Now you can say, there are, for the threat actors that are likely to attack us, they're going to do these 10 things, and I have defenses for 5 of them, but I'm missing defenses for the other 5. So it can help you plan that sort of thing. So what they're here is, this project is really just basically a quiz where you have to look up a bunch of these things, find them there, like there's a persistence mechanism that puts malware on the Ethernet card. So you should find that one, and so on. There's just various things that have been observed to happen here. And here's one that caught my attention. There are some collection techniques where there is no effective mitigation. There's no known way to stop it. So that's interesting. Anyway, you might want to do that if you like. It's worth extra credit, of course, but it's getting used to the MITRE ATT&CK matrix is an important thing to understand malware and security in general. Everybody's using it all over the place. remember when I first saw it, I said, oh, that's too complicated. There's too many things in there. Nobody could learn that. But I got over it. We really should know it pretty well, to where we're pretty familiar with all those techniques if you're going to be in this business. All right. Well, that's what I wanted to show you.